Let me pose a question to Lowell, if I might. That's always bothered me. For so long, the science has been so clear, as was suggested by your citation of the science that the ExxonMobil had itself, and yet the way the issue was reported was invariably to give voice to the deniers in every damn article, and that contributed absolutely to the strategy that they had. There was no doubt, no significant doubt. We'd had 11 National Academies of Science report on this. We'd had.
You're talking about nicotine and cigarettes.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about climate change.
Climate change.
I'm talking about climate change.
Called the balance bias. That 97% of journalists, scientists get the same weight in a news article as the 3% who don't.
Mm-hmm. It used to be,
I call it false balance.
Okay.
It used to be maddening to those of us in the environmental movement that what we would hear from the scientists was so definitive, and then you see an article, and there would always be the skeptical person quoted as a serious scientist very often. Most of them were not, as it turned out. But that has always bothered me in terms of reporting, and I wondered, it obviously is connected to the ethos of reporting, the ethics, and...
Well, money talks. And all I can say is that the tobacco industry or industries in general, in pursuit of their profit and maintaining their profit and the value of their stock and what they're doing, will spend a huge amount of money to influence what's going on in news organizations. Right. And people listen to the protests of attorneys and others about what's going on. In the tobacco situation, the industry hired a public relations specialist who had been a journalist, a man named John Scanlon. He was inside the offices of 60 Minutes arguing directly with management and entertained, and he would entertain them in the evening as well while I was out here in Berkeley. So the fact of the relationships that different news organizations have at a certain level, the advertising dollar, that model, it may in many ways be possible for some changes to take place because advertising no longer is a major factor in the news industry, or it's diminishing rapidly. So I would say that it shouldn't surprise people that in the established media there is a great influence by what we would call multinational corporations or other people with great wealth and power. Look at the Republican candidates in the current election.
Yeah,
right? They are doubting climate. They talk about climate change as if it's not only not true, but some kind of conspiracy that people have made this up. Yeah. And so, and it's not even just debated, in any way. So I think one of the things that we have to accept is that the way public opinion is made in the United States and most countries is not necessarily rational.
And in every one of the Republican debates, you have not heard one word from Fox, CNN, or the others about climate change. Not one single question, even after Paris.